Sanga chinjo chichurudzi munhu akapfeka sharp.
Oh, Gidiza sharp.
Gidiza sharp para. Yakabhadhara here. Yakabhadhara here sharp.
Chi?
Yakabhadhara here sharp. Who has my phone? Pass my phone. Transfer ya Munetsi from Stade de Reims to Wolverhampton Wanderers. It's good for him, good for the nation. But achatambe. Alois.
Ratutanga.
Ratutanga. Or maybe Bevan. You want to say something about it?
Yeah. That's why I'm here anyway.
Yeah.
Well, it's good for a player whom I think thoroughly deserves it. And for me, if you ask me, I think it took a little bit longer than I expected for him to be in the Premiership. He's built for the Premiership frame-wise. He has the discipline. He's one player that when you see him play, you look at him from the lenses of that kind of a player that you expect to be playing at the highest level. And as for the other question that you asked to say, will he play? If he wasn't going to play, I don't think there was any need for them to be spending around 20 billion for him. You're not going to, if you're a team, if you're a, no, if you're a team level.
You can't call a player, you can't buy a player mid-season. At this time of the season, when you are struggling for backup, no, you don't. He is going. Shiga win a game with the Wednesday. I Yes, those are the kind of patience that he has been brought to play. At this 11th hour, I mean, he's coming in to save the team. The team is struggling.
Same sentiments?
I totally agree. With general transfers, you don't buy players for the future, like what Manchester United did when they bought Dago. I think they're players for the future, and I believe that.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Let's stay on track.
No. What trick is that? What trick is
an
that?
Experienced player, a captain for his side, who's coming in to play, and they lost. Even the Stade de Reims fans were not happy with that transfer move. They would have preferred it to come
maybe in the summer.
Probably, and they will have more time to plan and how they're going to plug that hole that has been left there. So you look at that. He's not your 18, 20-year-old that you're looking to develop. He's your player that you are saying to yourself, he's a player who's going to come and fit in and fill in a gap that already exists within that club already. And I think Wolves now need that because they're in desperate need of survival. And what they need are results, and they've been getting them in hot and cold. So I'm sure the coach, what he's doing is trying to solve a problem, and he has found Marshall Munetsi to be that answer, and he can't be the one sitting on the bench. Good move for him, I think, and he deserves it. We predicted this long back, but it took longer than we expected. But I'm sure he is one person, I'm sure after 2 seasons, if he's still at the peak of his career, he's 25, 26, so I think 27, 28, at the height of his career, he could even get a better deal or an improved package from Wolves if they stay up.
Yeah,
that should be your question. Your question should be, is he going to stay at Wolves? Because this is one player you're looking at going high up, not thinking whether he's going to play at Wolves. You should ask, are Wolves going to be able to keep him? Because other teams are going to come knocking for him, for his signature. Because this is one guy, we all know his capabilities. And like I alluded to earlier on, he's built for that kind of a league, and he can play there.
Highest transfer fee for a Zimbabwean. Does that come into play when he's playing? Does that put him under pressure, or he's beyond that?
No, he's beyond that. I don't think he'll be looking at figures because look, he's not playing for Zimbabwe. He's playing for Wolves, so the pressure is not that side. He has gone in there. He's not the most expensive player at Wolves. Remember, so it's not pressure at all. It's actually just a privilege to be. It can actually make him play. Even with more clout, that I'm the most expensive player in Zimbabwe. No pressure at all. It's a good number for him. Like I said, because he's not the most expensive at Wolves. He's the most expensive at Zimbabwe, whereas he's not playing for Zimbabwe at that particular time. You know, I see Marshall as like Bevan has just said, he is built for the Premiership. He has got the skill, he has got the frame, he has got the speed, he has got the technique, he has got everything that he needs to play. He is actually 2-3 years late to be playing in the English Premiership. He should have gone there a little while earlier. I don't know why they haven't been. But there was talk about it 2 years ago. I remember that he was on the radar of some clubs in England. I think that's when he should have made the move. Now that Wolves, they've actually seen now, they're now desperate. They've now gone for Marshall. He is, but now at 28, he's actually 28, and I hear that he signed a 3-year contract. So that means that he'll be 31 by the time he finishes his contract. I would think in his position he will still be prime. At 31, he will still be going. Never mind about what we always talk about in Zimbabwe. We think a player who is 28, 29, and Chembera. No, yeah. But there, at 31, he has got another 4-year contract in his pocket if he plays well. You know, I've spoken about it as well to some of the guys that are closer to him. I haven't really spoken to him yet, but I was saying that this is his opportunity to actually stamp his authority. He has got another big contract waiting for him after this 3-year contract. He can have another one, a step up again. And like Bevis also said, he can still move from Wolves to a bigger club in England. He has got the potential. That I don't have any doubt about it. He has got the potential to actually move from Wolves to your Liverpool, to your Manchester United. He can play for Manchester United. We don't have a defensive midfielder at Manchester United. I wish Manchester United had actually snapped him.
Yeah, that's true. He's got a very interesting statement that they said defensive midfield. Sometimes at Stade de Reims, he was playing as an attacking midfielder.
He's a box-to-box player.
Box to box, yeah.
So he'll be working more of box-to-box.
Box to box, you know, sometimes, you know,
Okay.
but in that position, you know, the coach can always play around with you if you've got that ability. The coach is actually happier that you can do box to box. It's now as per instruction. You play as per instruction. Remember, as a junior player, he used to play number 9 as well. He used to be a striker. So he is versatile. It's now about the coach looking at the game, looking at the player, and deciding how they want to deploy him. But I should think that they want to deploy him as a central midfielder, come defensive midfielder, to show up. Obviously, I don't think they're bringing him for his attacking prowess. I don't think so, because I believe that they've got players in the attacking positions. They want to stabilize. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. That's where the challenge is. He hasn't been consistent in terms of performance for Wolves, and there is somebody who's going to give them either
stability and cover. Yes.
And versatility as well. And somebody who can get an odd 2, 3, 4 goals, you know, for a half season, and then 10 goals over only for a season. And he's not such a bad addition to it.
Yeah, not such a bad addition. We're live on our Facebook page. Yes, we're here at the Centurion Bar and Grill. So yeah, you can come onto our Facebook page or YouTube channel. We're live. Give us your comments. What do you think of Marshall Munetsi's move from Stade de Reims to Wolverhampton Wanderers? My guy Zia seems to think he made the right move, and he's going to do a little too late, though. A little too late. But it is what it is. Marshall Munetsi is officially a Wolves player. But there's something interesting that he put up, is that when he was younger, he used to play 9. That was at Alexander.
Academy. What does he do when he's playing for Auburn Academy and they don't have a professional setup? And we are depending much more on that kind of development. It's not the correct pathway for these kids. Auburn Academy should actually thrive to get their junior boys into the Dynamos Academy, into the Cape United Academy. So we are the scouts, Alison Downs scouting for Friendly Academy. Friendly Academy then feeds into the Dynamos Academy. This is how it's done all over the world. That a young, small academy in Chipinge is not looking to groom that boy until he is 20 years old. A boy can stay in Chipinge, tell a boy can stay in Chipinge until he is 20 and start coming from Chipinge now to look for a professional club in Harare when he's 20.
Too late.
You see, that's late. That boy is supposed to come, they identify him in Chipinge. When he's 16 years old, he should already, after school, after high school, he should already being thrown into the Cape United Academy so that there's a correct pathway into the professional squad.
What has contributed to what Alois is talking about is the non-belief by local coaches and the need and the hunger for success over, development and capturing the bigger results later in the future, because it looks like there's no belief amongst the generation of coaches that are coming in. It's either pressure or maybe the demand for results or some. I don't know what the challenge is. Why these players we're no longer getting a 16-year-old, a 17-year-old, an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old. The only 18-year-old we are talking vibes about now is Evans Bugori's son right now, which is a big surprise.
But what vibes are you talking about?
I'm just mentioning.
If I should respond to you, Vale, I don't blame the coaches.
Right.
I don't blame the coaches because we are expecting the coach to go and pick a 17-year-old from Highfield to play him. Whereas if the boy is playing for Cape United under 18, the coach has got the chance, like Bev was saying, if Cape United is playing against Dynamos at Rufaro Stadium, the juniors start at 10. So a coach who is at Ambassador Hotel with Cape United first team there and they are preparing for a 3 o'clock game, the coach can actually go to Rufaro Stadium early to watch these boys at under 18 level. They are playing. And now the coach is now at liberty to actually see the 2-3 boys that are outstanding in the under 18s of his team and say, coach, junior coach, I want those 3 boys to come and train with the first team in the next 2 weeks. They will be training with the first team, but playing their games at the juniors. Training with the first team. Now he is able for the whole year. He is able to actually assess these boys while they are playing for the juniors, but they are already training with the first team. Then the following year, you find a young boy coming from under 18s into the first team as a 17-year-old.
So should we
makes it easy.
I
blame the clubs. I blame the clubs for the lack of structures, not the coaches.
That's why I was looking for the answer.
It's the structures.
And for the clubs, it's simple really. They will give you an economic reason as to why they do not have juniors. But there are ways to circumvent these economic reasons, because already there are things that you're doing even in this tough economy. You can partner with schools. We saw it working in times gone by. You have your academy and you are in partnership with the school. You already have facilities and everything is there. So really, it's the system and it's the clubs that has been wrong, and that has led to a number of, we're no longer talking of a lot of exports now because of that. The caliber of players we have now is not as talented as maybe back in the day during their playing days, because we have neglected developing these boys at junior level via the right processes, as Alois was alluding to. So let's take that seriously and make sure that we're going to have more of stories like that of Marshall Munetsi going to Europe.
You see what he has brought. Partner with schools. Dynamos at their greatest, when they were developing the best players in their academy into the first team, they were training at Shingirai Primary School in Harare. It's Dimbare. Dynamos is Dynamos Dimbare. That's where they should be breeding their players. And they were doing it. They were training at a primary school in Anana Gaza Maringwa, Chamumsanu, and all them. They trained at that school and they developed from there. They were taken to Churchill from that school. And to Churchill, they were training there. So this economy excuse is just but an excuse because the kids were not getting fed by Dynamos. They were coming on their own and they were staying, most of them were staying in Mbare. So they were just to walk. Capes United, we know their best, they got a lot of their kids from Glenora. What is stopping them from partnering Oscar Motsi and George Nechironga, who are already in Glenora training young boys already, and say we are now based at Rufeneko Primary School for our junior development structures. George Nechironga, you stay there, and the kids, they stay there. There's no transport fund, there's no food money. They are training there, they play their games. Partner. So it's all excuses. Scotland can partner Ali Sundowns in Mavuku, and already they've got their junior structures in Mavuku. And the boys that are coming from Mavugu, they are going straight into. That's why Seko Cement was very strong. Seko Cement, all those Usman Misses, Wilfred Mugays, and them, they grew up in Mavuku and they joined Seko Cement in Mavuku. Exactly. So it's just an excuse. This economy thing is an excuse of people that are not. They don't have the goodwill to do the right thing.
Highlanders, Ziligas.
Yeah.
When Chirwa was there, you know, the Highlanders would get their best from Sobugas to Ziligas.
Yes.
You know, and this was the structure. Ali Papa actually would prefer lads that would learn at Sobugas and Ziligas.
Yeah, all them from Makokoba. They would just walk to Baba Fields and train.
Easier. Or even when you're dedicated. And that's why Ronald Squander never played for Highlanders. He was a boy from Luveve. Why Vela Kachana? It's far.
Yeah, exactly.
And he needed transport money. Highlanders couldn't afford it. They preferred boys from Ziliga as
Makokoba around there who can just walk.
Yes.
Who can just walk to the training ground.
Boy. He was a Plum Tribe boy. And they couldn't, you know, get him. That's why he never played for Highlanders. Otherwise, if it was about talent search and getting everything, Ronald Squander would have played for Highlanders.
So we've got a new ZIFA executive. What's their first? Is this like their first thing, or they should concentrate more on the senior sides and then look to?
That has been the problem of Zimbabwean football. People think Zimbabwean football is the Warriors and the mighty Warriors. You get it? Whereas that is the end product of Zimbabwean football. The real football is at the junior level. When we grew up, we had an organized setup where even the primary schools, I was born and bred in Stungwiza. You had, teams from Seke. You would play, your league format. Teams from Zengeza, you are playing your league format. You are going to have a select from Seke, a select from Zengeza. You play a select from Stungwiza. And it was cascading.
Yes.
You get it? It was cascading. Yeah. There was order. So if you want to look at the talent that we had then, the kind of national teams that we'd have, Alois Punjira here, he will tell you the first time he probably played against, may say, or when you get to know of Peter Love or Shaba Takarungova. Takarungova was in Mtare, Peter Love was in Blawai. He was in Stungwiza, but he can tell you he got to have to have met those guys at a tender age because there was organization. And once he played with Peter Love at that level, as they grew older and going up until the Warriors, there would be rapport because they already know each other. Yeah. You get it?
No, let me tell you exactly this setup to see how it was cascading. He said it correctly about the primary schools. We were selected. We played a round robin in our own zone. We were in Segez, I think we were 11 schools, so we played 10 games. And before the 10 games, we would actually do pre-season. We used to do pre-season in primary school. We would play friendly games and we would go to Veneko and Glenora to play before the league starts. Then we play 10 games, then we win. like he said. But the most important thing was we had a thriving junior league. At under 14 already we had a national tournament, Chibugu Trophy, that we would play in our area zone, then district, then province. That's why you were saying we knew of Peter Njovu when we were still in the under 14 teams. We knew Shaba. We would go to City Velos to play in Mutare, City Velos of Mutare. There was Red Wing of Penalonga. There was a Red Cliff team. We knew all these players. Anana Kennedy Nagoli, and we knew of them already. By the time we got to the under 16 level, we were already popular. And then we had the provincial selects. We had those provincial selects. We would be called into camp for the province. We play provincial tournament, then they will select 50 boys into camp for the national team. We never used to have trials. We would play in tournaments, then collect all 50 would go to New Seram Air Base. They used to call it New Seram Manyame now. All 50 of us. Imagine across 50 best under 17 boys from across the country, from all the provinces. We converge until they came up with a team. So we already knew each other from way back.
Jetro Zarira, technical director, chairman, they call him, should be arranging, motivating government to retain the structures that Alois is making reference to. Because this is where development of football is. Tell you what, we've got many universities in Zimbabwe right now. 11, 12, 18
a lot of them, yeah.
Universities. Why are we not making those institutions places of excellence? He went to Wits University, you know. That's why he came out good after even his career, you know. And this is what we need to be doing, because they need a life after football. How do you do that with footballers? You get them to these schools of excellence or universities of excellence or places of excellence for development. Some are going to be good coaches. Not all of them are going to be players and coaches. Yes. No, some of them are going to go into the structures. Why don't we have right now in the ZIFA structures former players or people with influence within the game itself? It's because we haven't invested enough, we're not doing enough in terms of utilizing the institutions of excellence, which are universities that are going to do scientific research and do everything that is scientific, because the game has become scientific.
We're not utilizing the resources.
We are not utilizing the resources.
Yes.
We've got a sports degree, but what are we doing? What are we teaching? Who's Valentine's got a sports degree, but he can't get in to the institutions that are important.
Yeah, I agree with him. You see, tertiary is actually in the council. We actually have representatives of tertiary football in ZIFA Council. But what is tertiary doing for football? We are supposed to actually have a league of the universities, a league. Now, if it's a competitive league of universities, it means UZ wants to win that league. They want to win. What do they do? They invest in it. What do? They start giving scholarships to these young talented footballers. You see 5, 10 young footballers who are actually going to university and playing football. By the time you finish your degree, you're already looking for a professional team to play for. But what do you have here at the back? You've got your degree.
Yeah.
There you go. So this is one other thing that we are missing. We are letting the kids are coming from 5, from 4, from 6. You get 8 points. It's done. Imagine tina vafana vakawanda vanonga vakatorova bhora vanenge vaine ma 8 points. Pamwe anenge akapasa O level but haakwanise kuenda ku A level. These are the kids that are supposed to be absorbed now by these tertiary institutions. Otoenda papoli une 5 O levels dzako wakarova but haukwanise kuenda. Poly takes you. Play for Harare Polytechnic.
It's a grading system, the American system.
Yes.
You've got a different grading from everyone else. Because they're excelling elsewhere. And that should be valued.
So we are now giving education to our talented footballers.
It's $1 billion industry that he's talking about. So we need to invest in it.
We've got Tawanda Chikwiri who says we have to go back to grassroots. From junior, under 10, 14, etc. Organize and sponsor tournaments for these young lads. We make wonders, but the current environment one. My recreational parks kwaitambwa chikweshe nevafana zvakatengeswa nekanzuru. Those grounds, zero maintenance, part of the new setup. Lenius M. Poterai says true, probably agreeing with what you've just said. Ngabuko Ngube also agreeing with what you said, Valentine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Alois. With Zimbabwe, I've got this belief that Zimbabwe is set up for greatness in the next coming 10 years. I think because of what we are achieving and the players that have gone into the diaspora. And if you don't manage it proper, it is going to be the local lads who are coming from most impoverished societies that are going to be losing out. Why? Because I'll tell you, in the next 10, 12 years, Alois, Bevan and Innocent, we are going to have more Zimbabwean players in the English Premier Soccer League than any other nation in the world.
Yeah.
This is coming. And this is going to coincide with the boom of
In the
Zimbabwean
next what?
economy. 10 years.
I think
5.
that's too much.
Even 5.
I think
But I'm saying
5.
for us to really stick it in and...
So my worry much when it comes to that, we were discussing that. In 5 years' time, we are going to have an influx of Zimbabwean young talent in the EPL, in the Championship, in League One. What this is going to do to us at home is going to be so disheartening, because our kids are not going to make it into the Zimbabwe under-15 squad. They are not going to make it into the Zimbabwe under-17 squad. They won't make it into the Zimbabwe under-20 squad, because you will not take some boy who is playing high school football in Chipinge or in Penalonga to come and play for Zimbabwe under 20 or Albamshana when you have got a boy who is playing for Wolves under 17, dominating. You understand? Yes. So it's going to be very difficult. So we need to step up here at home. Our development structures need to step up already. The good thing is the colonial government, as much as we don't like it, they left good structures for us. Every area in Zimbabwe, area zone, they've got an area board, an office, a sports office for the council. That's where all these young boys were trained. We've got district offices, we've got provincial offices. They were there. We can just even take from the political side, political structure. Branch, district, province. We can go back to that and do that. Yes, we can do that in Bora. We can do that. We can do that in Bora. Not structures to province, national. So we can do. We have the setup. We only need to implement. That's why I said it just needs the goodwill. Because like I said, our boys here at local, because the local is lega. Take it out of Sara. Mbana ajipisa, train on ajipisa ku England, ku Liverpool. Even muda utorambana, kutambira hot space kuzengeza. It's not gonna happen.
Just comments that we have on our timeline. We need to have grassroots, but all the grounds we used in Chitungiza as kids, that Zimba, no more communities. You can confirm.
I can confirm. I'll tell you. I can even tell you. The situation is worse in Seke than it is in Zengeza. Because if you go to Seke, we had a ground in Unit N, gone. Yeah. We had a ground Unit O, gone. We had a ground Unit M, gone. Unit A, gone. Yeah. Almost you are left with the one. You are left with the one at Unit H. Just so you would call it Shibuku.
But I heard it was almost sold to a college.
There were fights. When I say fights, I mean like physical fights. May he so rest in peace. The late, cancer, the referee. What's his name? Chafika. They had to come to blows with people because the land was parceled out. If you go to Zengeza is at least safe because the Gaza land, that's Zengeza 2, is still there. You've got the one, Pamacheka, called St. Mary's.
It was sold. That one was parceled out. We wrote a petition about it and it was ignored. We were told the current,
it's no longer
the current mayor and the current council officials, they said we are not the ones who actioned the sale of those stands. They were sold by the executive before them.
It was
one and the one at opposite
Zengeza 5, Zengeza 1.
Yeah, opposite in Berry Primary School.
Yes.
That one is gone.
I had it also. They are no longer goalposts. But I'll tell you, I remember that ground in particular. That's where we would go and watch Hackney play.
Yes. Yes, and Hackney used to use that.
Hackney, yes, it was a team that played in the Premiership. Yeah. And
Hackney, and Mandimbinka used to play in
exactly.
that.
I played for the juniors of that team. You know, you remember this guy who played for that team who was called Nkulumani. I don't know where the guy
Nkulumani.
The guy was just
He was good.
A brilliant footballer.
He was good.
So we would not miss.
He was our rival at Tangenham when he was Zingeza 7 primary.
You get it.
Very good player.
Very good player. And that one, the ground is gone. The one in Zingeza 3 is now surrounded by houses.
That one is almost gone. You got a house right behind the goalpost. That one is almost the touchline. And the other houses are along the touchline. So the houses along the touchline. That one is gone.
You know the reason why we had a lot of talent coming from Stungiza back then. It was because of those facilities.
Yes.
And also one thing that people forget is the thing that we grew up playing. It was so good because there were a lot of technical abilities that a child would catch on from that question. Because you are playing in a very limited space, and you are trained to think quick, react quick, things that are so important. Things are so important to the development of a player. Now you know, look, especially in Stungiza,
in the streets. It's a narrow street, yeah? So you have got your Magos, Matombo, dinner, and you play in the narrow, yes. And these families, they've got their own vegetable gardens along the touchline. Yes. You should say.
You are avoiding the
when
garden.
you are playing, you are supposed to be avoiding the garden, because if your ball gets into someone's garden, they will take the ball.
It's game over.
So you must have skill to protect that ball from going into the garden.
And don't step on the ridge.
But gentlemen,
there was a lot.
I think it's important for us also to call upon, that is the relevant ministry. We have to call them out. I'm calling out the Ministry of Sport. I'm calling out the Ministry of Education, because those things have been separated. So I'm calling out Kirsty Coventry. I know she's busy with the campaign to be the IOC president. But what we need right now is that vision, like Alois has been saying, from the school level. Because this is cheaper. We're doing something. What Alois and company and BN and other academies are doing is expensive. But they can only be supported in a certain way after we get the right structures from the school system, from the university system. We need these three parent ministries to engage each other, to sit out and say, it's not, yes, we're talking about football, making reference to football. But I'm telling you, it's not about only football. It's about all sports codes. How development should be nurtured and structured within the system and everything in between. That's what we are calling upon. The Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education should be saying, we are seeing a 16-year-old who has passed his O levels. He probably is going for his diploma. You can have a diploma in certain things and perform for the polytechnics. We've got an 18-year-old, a 17-year-old who's got his A levels. He is going to university, or she is going to university, all right? And he's going to a school of excellence for further development, but also getting something to fall back on their injuries. There's certain, unfortunate incidents that happen, but they've got something to fall back on. But we're saying you're excelling. We're giving you this opportunity. Let's invest in it. I'm telling you, this will not only contribute to the success of our sport, but also to the development of our economy.
Now that you brought it.
Hold it just 1 second. I would maybe go.
Yeah, I wanted to say the other big letdown are the institutions of tertiary education. Those of higher learning, they are a big letdown. We do not have a team in the Premier Soccer League. We do not have a team, none, not even one, that is either from MSU, UZ, CAT, NAST, but if you go to other countries, because these are, the best brains in everything are found at universities.
And the facilities.
And the facilities are there. So our university sport has to be something that has to be developed, because we need to be having a UZ team that is so strong. They should be, giving scholarships to talented young boys. I mean, the grading system can't be the same for the academically talented guys. You'd adjust the grading system for these guys, get them into university, develop them, nurture them. I mean, this is where the best of sports science can be done. This is where the best of modern day scientific methods can be put into our sport. But we do not have UZ. We are calling out UZ. We are calling out NAST, MSU, CAT, and every other university that we have in Zimbabwe. Come and play ball and develop our sport.
A bit diplomatic. Call out the minister to give an instruction. It's done.
Yeah, it has to come from there.
Yes. Let's just take a look at what our viewers are saying. Lenius M. Potter, I thank you for joining us. Munetsi Zoa says we need to have, oh no, I've read that. Carl Joshua Nube is watching, thank you. Munetsi Zoa says some academies are on preying on parents. That's Munetsi's point. He seems to think that some academies are I'm looking for the right, diplomatic way of saying.
My guy, let me tell you the problem with us as Zimbabweans, and me included. That mindset, academies are preying on parents. It's totally wrong. Because ibabora ghetto grow like that, and you see, my guy, these academies are supposed to be specialized. Junior football you can play, ghetto junior football you can play, but as a parent, when you decide you want your child to have specialized training, take your child to the academy and pay. You pay. You pay for.
All right.
You come to tennis here and see how much parents are paying for their kids.
And it becomes wrong when it's football.
And when it becomes football, it becomes wrong. But any other sport, they are happy to pay.
What?
That's what
I mean. No. I mean.
Wait. Let's just take a look at Rupango Tawanda. I hope I got your name right. What ultimately counts is the result. Zimbabwe 2, Egypt 0. I guess he's talking about the African Cup of Nations. The youth Varimo national team could try the gate as much as you can. Tilkuleka finishing. This is more of the national team.
Focusing
on the national team. Thank you very much for your comments. We did take a look at the national team. That was last week's podcast. You can take a look at it and then give us your comments there. Joe Dambanemwea. Problem, we let people who doesn't like football run our football administration. Let's go back to our grassroots structure and start developing there. I think, Bevan, you had a point. Was it last week or the week before? Where you said that the people that are supposed to be at the helm of football, was it you or Tinashe?
What was
the point was that the person that's there shouldn't naturally be a footballer.
Yeah, it's not so much of having a footballer as much as it would be good to have a footballer. I believe in competence and meritocracy. The person that understands what has to be done and has competence in as far as doing that is concerned. And it depends what role. Because if it's the secretariat, you need somebody, this day-to-day running, you need somebody who knows what they're doing. If it's the highest, you need a leader. You get somebody who can get the competent people to be doing the right things. You need them at the highest office. But if it's these guys that are day-to-day running, that's when it would be good to have Alois Bunjira, for example, as maybe running the game if he has acquired enough competence to run the game. Alois was a legend on the field of play, and he has to develop himself as somebody who can administer it. Then you will be the best candidate, not just because.
But the question is now, if we put Alois Bunjira at the helm of football in Zimbabwe, Alois Bunjira naturally has a passion for football. But most of these guys that are coming in, if I'm reading this right, most of the guys that are coming in don't have
by the helm. What do you mean? You mean like ZIFA president?
Yes.
No, those are political offices. If you were to be very frank and honest, it's not really so much about. It's about by political I mean football politics, and even probably even the
it's political influence. Plus your affluence.
You see now.
Affluence is big, but can I just finish to say? Can I just finish to say?
Yeah.
Those, if I wanted to be part of football, I was never going to run for the presidency. Why? Because that's like I said, for the lack of a better expression, that's a political office. I would go for the CEO. I would go for the secretariat where we're running the game day to day. That's for me.
You see, I tend to differ a little bit with Bev. Yes,
that is very
when my biggest problem is when it comes to a former footballer. Then everybody say you must advance yourself first to be in that position. But we have people that are coming from nowhere into those positions. You are like, where did they advance themselves in football to be in both those positions? Now, when I look at a guy who is growing up in Zengeza, pamapa vanogadzirwa mota. Akura achigadziriswa mota, achikanika mota, achida say ari spanner boy, achida say that boy is going to grow up to be a mechanic. A good one. A very good mechanic. And then you are now telling me that guy cannot have a spanner boy. Can Akura yeah, I'm going to that.
Let him finish.
So what? That boy now, he is grown up, he can now fix the car. He is already running a garage and he has got the education. And what exactly do you want him to do more than what he has done already? But then we have him, he has never fixed the car in his life. He has grown up, he has been a garden boy, he is an agriculture specialist, and all of a sudden now you want him to come and manage the garage. And you are okay with him coming to manage a garage from being an agricultural specialist. But you have a problem with a boy that grew up fixing cars, that grew up in that garage.
Can I get time to respond?
All right, you got, before we move to the next one.
Yes.
Yeah, respond to that.
My issue, speaking for myself, is not, I do not want former players. No. If you heard me correctly, I said, if I prefer, I come from a meritocracy background. I believe a person should be in any position based on merit, not based on any other thing. If you've got a former footballer, for example, if you ask me, I think if you look at the likes of, for example, Desmond Maringwa and the Footballers Union of Zimbabwe, I think they're doing quite a good job. Yes, there's always room for improvement everywhere. But if these people throw their heads to say, okay, I want this, in terms of administration, I think I have seen that these guys can do certain things. You get it? My point is, I'm not saying footballers cannot administer. I'm saying they should, a person in this era, innocent, football has become a business. Football is not just about passion. That is where we differ with. He played.
I agree with you 100%. I agree with you.
Let me finish.
But why are you then going to pick somebody from nowhere?
I will respond to that.
Before you don't know their credentials and you are happy with them running football.
Let me respond to that.
Yeah.
Because football is a business now. It is run based on business principles. You are commercializing the game. So a person who has that background, who has succeeded in that background, can be in that office, for example, in the highest office. But when it comes to the other things that are football related, say, because at the end of the day, innocent, you have to understand, administration is administration. Hence, you can have somebody who works for finance, in the finance department at ZBC, going to work in the finance department at the police, going to work in the finance department, because it's finance, it's universal. Administration is universal. What you need, this is where the secretariat comes in to say, football, as football, it has got certain peculiar areas that have to be treated that way. This is where these guys that are called the famous talk football people come in. But people have to understand now, when you say football people, now football, because it's a bigger cake now, people are involved in football at different levels. Some are administrative, some are in sponsorship, some are in every other thing. So let us stand guided when we say these guys probably they have not been in football.
Having listened to both of you make really good arguments on your part, I'd also like to say that when it comes to administration, it is administration. When it comes to football, it's football.
Yes.
It's like the case that you put in, that a mechanic has got a shop, he hires me to do the finances, right? That's part of the administration.
But do you agree? Do you agree? I can, with no mechanical background and everything, without even knowing what a carburetor or whatever is, yes, salt, whatever. Yeah. You know what I can do? You know, I can run a more successful business in that field than somebody who had exposure to cars. Why, if I have the right business principles, yes, I can.
Wait a minute. Let's not take that for granted. That you can just go into an agriculture business and run it successfully when you don't know what a maize seed is, when you don't know what chemical is.
Isn't that basic knowledge that you're supposed to then take to?
That's my point. That's my point. That you don't assume that administration of football is mostly played outside than inside, except commercial side. The commercial side of football,
which has become the most important side of football in the contemporary setup.
But uka commercialize ku office. Kuma structures kusina chinu. When you know nothing about how to put structures, the bora kuzasu.
But this is the role of the secretariat and these guys that are running Tukuda East. And these guys, they've got a vision to say, we want to transform this game. Look, we hear, for example, in Zimbabwe, over the years, you hear the Warriors of Angwataza Kutravela, you hear the Warriors Mukempe of Anama allowance. So we hope, but I'm saying,
even my two Warriors are getting allowances.
Yeah, we have had.
We're going to that one.
We have had cases of what I was talking about. So, if you've got people that can commercialize the game, it's okay. Then the football aspect to say, surely, if I'm the ZIFA president, it may not be my duty to know a size, Fekona Valentine who plays for the national team. No, it's not my duty.
Right,
but
guys,
what I have to do is, how do we come into partnership with Adidas for a proper kit deal? Not these Mutoenyemba things that we were putting on during the qualifiers.
You are correct right there. That if you are the president, you should know what needs to be done. You don't just arrive there without knowing what needs to be done. Like I said before, if you must know. You don't just arrive there without the knowledge. But you need those soldiers that know what they're doing down there. Because uri president unoporongererwa zvinhu from the board, right from the board.
Yeah.
Right from the board, because you also need the board that knows what it is doing.
Like I said, you guys are putting in valid points there. Please tell us what you think on our timeline, our Facebook page, ZBC TV Strictly Football. We're live. Nyaradzai Mucheje says we have the potential, but the responsible authorities are neglecting the sport. The situation is so disheartening. The aquatic complex, Yatoye Music, Nema Crusades. That's another thing.
That's really sad.
It's sad.
That's really sad.
Ukatiku aquatic, like me and him are from Stunguza background. You think of Manchester.
Yeah.
Aquatic is about
really
swimming,
bad.
but you think of
it's not just aquatic. Look at Magamba Stadium, the Walkie Stadium.
It's gone.
It's a crying shame.
Do you know what Chibuku Stadium was now?
At number 7.
Do you know Chibuku Stadium was now a car park where impounded cars were put there in Chibuku Stadium. But legends like him were born out of that stadium. But it was, and now you've got churches. I'm a Christian, I'm 100%. They have got preferences, and these gigs and functions. I saw this big gig.
I love your podcast. This is an opportunity for us to call out the relevant authorities to do right about our sport.
I saw this.
If we don't do it now,
because you know what I saw last week, but one. there was a big gig. First, it was football. Legends were playing. I saw him, and we got to see them play again. It was nice. It was refreshing, and the nostalgia, you know how it is. Then, in the night, maybe 50 or 40,000 people on that turf. Right.
Listen.
Hear me. If you go to, because when we compare, we have to compare with the best, right? If you go to Old Trafford today, I pray to God. I mean, I've never been there. I pray to. I've seen on internet.
Go on.
You are never allowed to step onto the pitch.
Yeah, but in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, they're bringing
big events. Is how you manage it.
Yeah,
You see, at the end of the day, they do not host.
Liverpool is going to
Listen,
host. Anfield is going to host
listen.
a concert.
They don't host events the way we do.
What do we
You think
But to support his point, the Tottenham Hotspur, they actually changed the turf. They spin
exactly
it around.
exactly,
They
and
spin
we
it
have the
around
same
and
turf.
they give you the turf. Yamunotsogodzera artificial turf.
Hey.
Yekuti tambai imo
How
muita
far
zvamuno.
off are we from the start of the Premiership?
But
Go and check the state of Rufaro Stadium now.
As good as
So what you're looking at, what
Forget everything that is involved.
what
the degrees and everything, but intelligent.
unofunga kuti mamune mombe dzakadzifura vanhu vapedza izvozvo.
All right,
Kana-
guys. All right. Munyaradzi Replica Mugwazi says, let's work together to revive grassroots development. Don't leave it to the motherboard. They are doing their best. Munyaradzi also continues to say, playing football doesn't mean you're eligible to be administrator of football. I know you've got arguments to that. Football is now a business, so there is need for business-minded someone. Nyaradzi Mchenje says, Alois is right. Look at how Samuel Eto'o has transformed Cameroonian football. I know you...
Not without controversy, not without issues.
He's got his own issues.
Look, what people look at Samuel Eto'o, they're looking at his personal flaws and forgetting what he's doing for Cameroon football. So they look at those flaws now, like, look at him. My ethics committee. Those are his same thing with Kalusha. They look at what Kalusha was called to do. Yes, but what he did for Zambian football, they are not looking at the structures and everything that he set up, but they are looking at the ethics side of things. And say,
Can I ask you something about Kalusha and Samuel Eto'o?
Can you ask after I've gone through?
You can.
Okay. Otherwise, we won't go through all these. All our former ZIFA presidents have never played football, and the narrative is there on the wall. Our football is just as good as dead. Kwendesa Warriors ne munorura mashua here. We need guys who have played football. Alfred Muchi Chikuni Chawa. I hope I got your name right. A lot of former footballers have the requisite administrative skills and qualifications. Who better than to run football than a guy who has all the required skill set? Staying vanhu vebhora okay, and now havasi vebhora. I think that's what you wanted to say. Guys, at least let's be happy we have a board with some who are business administrators. It's not all about putting legends only. This is from Kuda Harris.
no, it's never. It's never. You know when they say former footballers, let's hear this. When they say former footballers, it's not people saying president must be a former footballer, the board member is footballer. No. Like he said, there is business there that needs to be done. Put the right people to do the thing that they should do. If it's a footballing job that needs to be done, put somebody who knows. If you want people to organize football for you, ku grassroots, isaiva vacho vanogona kuita zvebhora zvacho vakamboenda through.
That is called meritocracy.
Kana makuda zvebusiness, I like the way Magwizi, you see Magwizi, I like that because he is resourceful.
Affluent.
Yes, influence and being resourceful, ziribo. Kana vanhu vari kumhanya masoja pasapoti abosi kuti diwa chakati chirulo chakati he resources. He doesn't need iye kuti azive kuti tagadzira here maprovincial select kuningirikini. It's not his job. Iye zvinoya kumusoro konzi kuti diwa chakati magrants awo here guys tiri kuaita sei, how are we disbursing them business vachiita zvezviye. But you cannot take somebody who doesn't know anything about football mova mamuti ndiwo uri kuita zvetechnical. moda kuti iye aite answerable, the national team coach answerable to this person, kuti kana ata kumusande muchidzangwa akunza report ye kuti tatamba sei ku game, Michael needs, who is he going to give the report to? He needs somebody and understand that report.
Let's talk.
So we need the right people in the correct positions.
Who caused the national team gave a report?
Brito.
Gave a good report, and people couldn't understand.
Got fired.
And then they fired him.
Got fired. Let's talk about. There's something that you mentioned earlier about the Mighty Warriors getting allowances for staying in camp,
which is a good move. I believe we need to start doing that to motivate our players, particularly for the local-based players, because you know we are off season, and this is 2 weeks of training. Somebody is just coming. How do you motivate? How do you get them to grind? How do you get them to fight? How to get them to be gritty? How to get them, to be in the national team? We're going to face Angola. We've never had a problem with Angola, but African football is continuously developing, and Zimbabwe has been stagnant for quite a long time. We have to mention that and agree on it. What does it mean when you motivate the girl child and say, okay, while you're here, all right, it's not about you fitting into the national team for you to get paid. You are here chosen to represent the national team, to qualify to be in the national team. We are going to incentivize you. Your time here is numerized to say that you're going to be paid for what you're here. Good move, smart move. It might be a political machination or move, but perfect.
Everything of his has to be political.
It's political.
That's has to be political.
No,
Why?
what I'm saying is, this is a new side. This is a new technical team or a new executive that is looking to impress, right the wrongs, and push them out and put the wrongs right.
Yeah, but the question
this is where we're starting. This is the starting point to say. I think it was a mention from the ZIFA president to say this is the direction. It's a signal to the secretariat that this is what we need to do. What is the standard operating? We should have SOPs that are benchmarked by international standards to say this is how we want to run our football. This is how we want to professionalize somebody who is going to represent the nation and wear that badge on their chest and hold it when they're singing the national anthem with great pride to say, I'm going to represent my nation. And that's how you start.
You know what? I'm happy with what he said, that is a starting point for the girls. But look, where are these girls coming from that are playing for the Mighty Warriors? That is one thing that has been neglected for a long time in this country. Kuti unozongonzwa zvangu Zimbabwe under 17 ne under 20 national team vari kubva kupi vana vari kubva kupi? Where are these girls coming from? So if the new secretariat or the new board and the new executive, they are now coming in, those are some of the things. It's a low-hanging fruit, women football. If we want to reach international standards, we have to do it with the women. It's easy. We have been to the Olympics. These are girls that came back from the Olympics and got $5. How do you motivate a parent for their girl child to play football? Under 70, under 7. So we need to start knowing that these girls need to start playing football from under 8. Under 8 girls. Ku primary school, we should be knowing Kuti Selborne Rutledge is playing against the Deft Livingstone. Under 11 girls, they are already playing football. That's the only way we can hit international standard. The level we have now, and Germany and England, the gap is not big. It can easily be closed. But if we do those same structures that we do for the boys, we do the same structures for the girls, and we go on and do that. Because they trained themselves. They were playing soccer with the boys in the streets. They were never developed Kuma academies. It's only SS Academy that was doing it. That's the only academy that I know that was actually grooming young girls from a young age. But it has to be countrywide. We need these girls to be playing football, and now they're getting money. They need to look up to playing football. The parents need to know that if the girl goes on to play for the national team, there are benefits. I had an interview with Melody, the former Mighty Warriors girl. She was crying. She said, I have got nothing to show for my more than 10 years playing for the Mighty Warriors. Nothing to show for it. Melody Msasa, yes. Nothing to show.
Fine player.
Nothing to show for it. for that she can walk around. She has got nothing to show. So this is a discouragement when you look at the younger kids that are coming through. This is Melody. He played for the Mighty Warriors, but what is there? So we need to now incentivize, like they are doing now, to make sure. I'm liking the revolution that is happening with football here. Footballers need to earn money. They need to make a lot of money. I'm liking what is happening at Scotland. It's a yardstick.
Entertainism has to be rewarded.
Those footballers must earn money so that we have got role models.
Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained?
So,
General Maximus, I'll be watching that today.
Okay. Did you watch the sequel?
I'm yet.
It's rubbish. Don't watch it. But you know what my major worry about is with women's football in Zimbabwe? It's I go and watch Caps United play against Dynamos, right? Mumhari Stadium. Highlanders versus Chicken Inn, Barberfield Stadium. Black Rhinos, Queens. Some dusty half. The grounds are just
that. All you're saying, innocent. All you're saying is what he was just saying. Yeah. The girl child has been neglected for far too long. And if the truth be told, they have been the most successful football team that we have had.
It's the same. I always tell you that Mambo's administration was always the.
Yeah, okay, we don't want to go there. But you know what? Going to play at the Rio Olympics, people who may not see how great an achievement that was.
It should have been a stepping stone.
You get it. We should not have gone down. Yes. Should have continued, on the upward trajectory. But like you were saying, we need. I think it's part of club licensing, if I'm not mistaken, to say every team, every team should have an academy and a ladies team. But we do not have these things.
But the leaders are not ready to implement that licensing system. They're not ready.
Well, it's another discussion.
So our teams are illegal. That you know what will happen. You know what will happen. If your favorite team, whatever it is, if it qualifies to play in CAF Champions League, they will hastily arrange some team.
And then next season we don't see it. Anyway, so gentlemen, briefly, we've run out of time, unfortunately. We were talking about administration. A couple of weeks ago, one person that you mentioned from Lubeve, who never played for Highlanders, became an administrator, a manager for Dynamos. I just need your opinion of it and how he will bring Dynamos back to its glory days, maybe starting with you.
Gidiza-Sibanda. Yeah, it's a good thing. You see, when we have these former players coming in to form part of the management at Dynamo, obviously he's not just going to be a manager to just rearrange kids and everything. He has got a lot of input in there. They will be talking to the coaches and they will asking for advice and everything. So he is actually a very, very good addition for Dynamo. I would love if all clubs could actually do that. That position, manager, is reserved for a former footballer, especially if he's your legend, a former footballer, for that DNA, because he is the connection between the management and the players. Players feel comfortable with the former legend, they respect him and everything. So I would love for all clubs to do the same. You'll see a very good working relationship between in clubs, and the transformation that a lot of clubs will do is unbelievable.
Yeah, well, I had the opportunity of seeing him in action, I think, on Wednesday, when I went to see the Dynamos training pre-season. I saw a good rapport between him and the technical setup, him and the coach. Maybe, these are names that naturally, get respect from people because of maybe their contribution to the game. It's unfortunate maybe Dynamos as an institution now is not being run properly. And I hope that's not going to taint his image and this day. But what I saw, the role that I usually see managers play, I think he's fitting in quite well. And what I liked in particular is what I mentioned earlier on to say, there was good rapport between him and the technical team and the players.
Yep. The best addition, masterstruck from Dynamos, bringing the player that played for them. a player, I think, who's looking to improve himself and go beyond his career, because I think he's at that age where he's saying, what is my next step in terms of football in Zimbabwe? And I believe Ronald has got the capabilities to do so. Bevan mentions a very good point when he mentions how Dynamos is being run, but I'm sure this is where the corrective measures have to be put in place. All right, we know Marriott was putting his kith and kin in certain key positions, but looks like this year he's taken a bit of a backhand to say, okay, let me try and bring in different people to come in. I think it's a learning curve. For me, one of the best and shrewd appointments that we'll ever see. He's not only going to contribute in player welfare, he's going to contribute to player development on the field. Mablanyo is quite smart if he suggested that. That is logical to say, okay, maybe at Dynamos there's a missing link with our midfielders. What do we need to do? Let's get somebody who was a marvel in the middle of the park, who had the vision, the intelligence, you know, in the field of play. Maybe you can impact to 2-3 players that could change the fortunes for Dynamos, in as much as they are regarded to be at their worst this year. But
I got to ask him.
We're done, guys.
Yeah, I got to ask him.
What
I said, how has been the transition? How has been the transition? And he says, Dababa manj. Like, isn't his father to these boys? He speaks to good relations that he has with the players.
Yeah. Gentlemen, we're done for this week. Wait. Liverpool going to win the league?
Oh, definitely.
Manchester United are going to be relegated?
Not this season, next season.
Next season. All right, well done. Take this off.
Relegated to where? Relegated to where?
League One.
League One.
What is the championship?
What do you want?
Gone are the days, huh?
What do you want?
In terms of drink.
Yeah, juice.
Paneji.
I don't know.
Didn't know 100% you can a minute mate.
Oh, all right.
But I would prefer 100% liquid.
100%. All right, Ribo.